So last topic, we'll go back to NFL. Um, this is where I don't think. I mean, I kind of told you where I stand, and you kind of told me, but no arguments yet. NFL MVP. You can go first.
Okay. So, as a Rams fan, I've I've been robbed of seeing Cooper Cup win league MVP. I've seen I've seen Todd Gurley get robbed of winning league MVP, and dare I say in the year Donald had 20 and a half sacks, I feel like he got maybe a little bit slighted. And so maybe this is the
Yeah,
bias,
I was never gonna. I mean, I'm a Texan. I've seen JJ do some crazy things.
but
It was
even
never gonna happen.
even then it's just like it's a quarterback award. And
Yeah.
the thing with most valuable player, right? If you want to take it down to its core, I think it's if you remove the player from the team, how do they look? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
100%.
and you can fill it in with the backup to whomever at quarterback, or in this case, I know you have an argument for a specific running back here, but it's like me, if you take Josh Allen off of the Bills, dude, that team, I mean, I don't even know is it Trubisky that's the backup?
Yeah.
Like, holy moly, that team is maybe sniffing 4 wins in the year. And that's being like maybe five, maybe four is a little bit hasty, but they're not making the playoffs. They're worse than the Dolphins in that division. You know, you can make the argument that the Patriots could put up a shot against those Bills if they were led by Trubisky. And so maybe I have a flawed way of thinking about it, but I think if you take the player and you were to remove them off the team and insert whomever it is behind them, hypothetically, I think that's the clear person, in my opinion, just because, I mean, you and I have
Sure.
had, I think, similar Josh Allen takes where he's just kind of been like a nuke launcher and like a turnover machine and like kind of near at certain points of his
He's
career.
fixed it. He's fixed it to this point.
And he's fixed it. And he's having, I would say, probably a top two season of his career, if not the best, because he doesn't have Diggs. They lost six captains this offseason. Like he loses all the help on defense, and they're still winning. And I get, it's a team sport and everything, but I just think with Josh Allen, I that's my pick, and I know he's the favorite, so I guess that's not really a hot take, but I know you have a different opinion, so I kind of want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly about it because I agree. We're kind of in a quarterback award era. I don't love it, but it is what it is. But we're giving. I'll just pull this up really quick because I have my computer right here, so I can kind of reference this. Josh Allen this year, don't get me wrong, he's having a great year. I'm not taking anything away from him. I've been very impressed. I've never put the Bills in like tier one contender to this point
Yeah.
until like this season because of Josh Allen's turnovers. Like he's playing phenomenal. But you read the stats and you're like, okay, he's 14th in passing yards. He's sixth in passing touchdowns. Like I know he's got the rushing thing going on. Don't get me wrong, but like, come on, like it's not MVP worthy. Even though he's an MVP worthy talent, the production is not quite there. I kind of have a similar take with the Heisman. I know we're not talking about that, but like I think you got to have the stats to kind of go with it, and because like Saquon right now is scary. He's got. I'm just gonna read it real quick because he's got 1,500 rushing yards, 13 rushing tutties, and then you got the receiving side as well. So he's at pretty much a little over 17 and a half, total yards. And we're through what,
13.
12 games?
Oh
He's
shoot.
got five more games. Like he's breaking two, I think he's gonna break 2K.
Oh yeah.
And like I hear your replacement argument also 100%. I think it's not flawed. I just think it's a little unfair from the quarterback spot because then you're making it a quarterback award again,
That's
right?
fair.
Because quarterbacks are the most valuable position in all of sports, without a doubt. I don't think I'm missing anything. Like let's just
No, yeah, no, that's
they touch the ball every single play, no matter what.
mhm.
If it's not even going to them, they're touching the ball. And so it's just a little unfair. I do think the Bills, because of the stats will back it up. Again, not taking anything away from Josh Allen. I just think they would still be a successful team without him. That defense is flying. You watch that snow game against San Fran the other night. He had the phenomenal play. He threw the pass and ended up catching it from Amari, which is wild. Like, but I mean, you take that away and you're like, okay, it wasn't like a Josh Allen game. It was like Cook was phenomenal. The defense was flying around. Like, it's just Bills football.
Yeah.
And like, if you take Saquon off the Eagles, I do think they look tremendously different because it's not like Hurts is just dicing everybody right now. He's having a good year also. I'm not taking anything away from him, but it's not like you take Saquon off and I mean, you watch the Rams game, dude. Like, and I know I don't want to bring that up, man, but shoot, dude. Like Saquon, just cutting back and forth, going through gaps in the defense. It's like you can just see it's different.
Yeah.
You can clearly see how different it is with Saquon to me. And so I think if you had a quarterback that was like, the stereotypical, like not 50 touchdowns, but we've seen like the 40 touchdown seasons, right? Like 40 touchdowns, 4,500 yards, whatever. Like, but we're not seeing that to this point with the quarterbacks. So I'm just not comfortable saying Josh Allen is the MVP, even though he's having his best year. He's just I can't do it. Saquon's phenomenal. He's gonna hit 2K. He's gonna have 20 touchdowns, and I think that's my pick. What do you think about that?
I agree, and I definitely think there's probably some negative bias with my Todd Gurley days and him getting snubbed by Brady and Cooper Kupp getting snubbed by I think it was Mahomes or Rodgers that year.
What? So the Triple Crown is that 21?
21. I think that was Rodgers.
So that would have been Rodgers.
Yeah.
Rodgers. Yeah.
And so that's the thing is that I do think it unfortunately is a quarterback award. And so not to disqualify Saquon, but I think that's like a knock in the voters' eyes. But I guess to go against that argument, I mean, the one thing is that Philadelphia easily has, I mean, I've never seen an offensive line that can replace Jason Kelsey and
that's impressive.
I think they replaced one of the guards too because they have Becton now, and they're playing like it's like a wall, like it's legitimately like a wall of like 1,500 pounds, and it's so disgusting because I like that's the best offensive line in the league, hands down, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. They're the boa constrictor. I think I gave that analogy to you the other day.
At the game
called Michigan. Last year in college football, like they're the boa constrictor to the NFL. You can't play with their front and their run game over 4 quarters.
No,
at this point,
but
you just like in the fourth, Saquon is, just gone off every game. It's insane.
Yeah,
I want to remind you of something really quick, and then I'm giving the floor back to you. In that 2021 year, Rodgers he was 37-4 with 4,000, 150 yards.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a good year. That's a really good year. But the thing is that people were hyping him off of the touchdown to interception ratio. But Kupp won the Triple Crown, and it's like, okay, like if we do like that, like I guess the MVP argument, like take Cooper Kupp off that team. They lost Robert Woods midway.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham would probably have gotten hurt like he did in the Super Bowl earlier in the year. And I love Stafford, you love Stafford, but they were not doing what they were doing without Cooper Kupp that year. Like they would still probably make the playoffs, and they'd still, maybe make it past the first round. But they're not beating the Bucks with that nuke at the end of the game. And he had 2 catches, I think, on that last 40-second drive.
Such a great play,
right?
By the way.
And then
that was insane.
In the Niners game in the conference championship, when he busted a 3rd and 3 on a slant from the slot, and he got up and was screaming. It's like they don't have that. And so I think my other thing is that last year, and I know Philly was like a dumpster fire from like December onwards, but they had DeAndre Swift, who I think is absolutely mid. Like just the most mid running back. Like every mid part of a running back is stashed into DeAndre Swift, and he still ran for. I think he was the top five in rushing categories, and so it's like they make the offensive line and the factor of Jalen Hurts. I think definitely helps with his legs, and so I don't. I I do think Saquon's easily the best running back in the league this year, but in my mind, I go. I think the situation has been like there's no better situation to run the ball in. And then you take a guy like Derrick Henry, for example. I think he's second in
Yeah.
rushing yards, and he's fighting father time right now. And even then, he still looks like um,
I mean, he looks
a
good.
man amongst boys. And it's like if you take Derrick Henry off the Ravens, and you got Justice Hill running the ball back there with just Lamar throwing to suspended Deontay Johnson and Mark Andrews, you
Yeah,
know,
how about that trade? I mean, I know we were not going to go down that, but that just did not work
yeah, that
for
that was
whatever reason.
that was terrible, dude. But like
Um,
I think that I I understand the argument, but then at the same time with the stats, like I think the Ravens went 13-4 last year, and Lamar was like 27-4. He threw for like just under 4,000 yards. Hypothetically, Dak should have won it last year because he just had flat out better numbers. And I hate Dak, and I know that you're probably close to similar. I think Dak is
yeah,
not amazing, but if it's based on stats, there just hasn't been the consistency, at least in that regard. Like Dak should have won it last year if it was based on stats. Because then if you go to the MVP argument about like most valuable player, I mean that's just kind of my take on it. I do think Saquon will probably make it pretty close with Josh Allen,
yeah.
but like even then, like I guess that's still the unfair argument. But like take Lamar out of Baltimore, like geez Louise, I don't know what that team even begins to look like.
I think there's more. This could be okay. I gotta phrase this carefully because here's the weird thing: is we have two phenomenal QB seasons right now that we can't give the award to. Burrow and because Burrow's like that was my preseason
Jameis,
pick. Burrow, and Burrow, dude, Burrow should be in there,
I
and he can't be because the team's not winning, and so I'm not gonna make that argument. But the stats wise, he's been like playing out of his mind, and
yeah
so is Lamar. It's just both teams have kind of had big ups and downs, and
yeah
so that like I would make the argument if you're just talking about the player, like Lamar and Burrow would probably be above Josh Allen at this point.
yeah
But
I can get behind
but
that.
I mean you can't. I mean they're not winning.
Yeah.
Like not winning to that level. To the level of both Josh Allen and Saquon.
And that's what's so dumb. It's like, okay, well, this is the thing with the award is that it's a quarterback award and it's been one since like '06 or '09, I think, when Peterson won it.
Yeah, I think yeah, that sounds about right for AP and we never had a wide receiver
I think
since then.
Ladanian won it a couple years
Yeah,
before
Ladainian would have been
'06.
07.
Oh, okay.
07, I believe.
So it's like there hasn't been a running back or any other position besides quarterback to win it. And so it's like, okay, if I had to work with that frame of mind, like Saquon's got to have to break the Eric Dickerson record, and then
Which he might.
and he
Which he
probably
might.
will. He probably fucking will, dude. Like it's bad, and so it's just why it's like I understand the Saquon argument, but the fact that they gave it to Lamar last year for just being on the best team, even though I don't, I mean I'm a Lamar guy, but I don't know if he necessarily deserved it more than Dak based on stats and just I mean I guess the value of it, but the issue I have is that like take Burrow off the Bengals, dude, they are not winning a game this year.
If you take Burrow off the Bengals?
Yeah, if you take
Yeah,
Burrow
yeah,
off the
yeah.
Bengals, they're 0-12.
Yeah,
They might
for
be
sure.
they might be negative
For
one and
sure.
12 with how bad that defense has been, and he's carried them through every single game.
It's really frustrating as a guy who picked Burrow because I'm like, this dude is going off. Like that was the pick.
Yeah,
On paper, it was the right pick, and that defense could not cover me if I was like wide receiver, dude. That's a violation, but you know what? It's
but see, here's the
they
thing.
can't cover anybody.
I, I agree, but here's you and I behind that Eagles offensive line, we might average 3 yards a carry because the push that they get,
Yeah,
they
I don't know.
push I saw it firsthand. and I'm so embarrassed that I was at that game as a Rams fan because Verse got smoked, Fisk got smoked, Turner, Young, Hoyt, it
It
was
was just,
toddlers against
but
grown
they
men.
looked good early. It was just the boa constrictor thing was like it just, yeah, there was no hope
Like
really.
it's like I wish the MVP award could be given to a positional group because it's easily the Eagles' offensive line. Because if you get rid of Mailata and Lane Johnson and replace them with average tackles, I don't think Mekhi Becton looks as good. I don't think that they're going to be like Jurgens. I don't think he holds up as well as a center. Like I think that those two guys are legitimately like. I think that they're instrumental to that offense because they give Hurts time to find Brown down the field or Devontae Smith, and then obviously Saquon. I mean, I know Saquon was generational coming out of college and he had great years with the Giants, but like this is like
Yeah.
he's dropping a nuke this year. Like he's going on a 30 kill streak, and
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's still crazy the Giants let him go. I mean,
and pay your running backs.
pay, yeah, if anything we've learned, even with like Joe Mixon, like
Josh Jacobs,
that's been
Derrick Henry,
without Joe Mixon, the Texans might have one win this year.
bro. Joe Mixon looks like prime Adrian Peterson out there just running folks over.
It's it's crazy. It's crazy. You look at Jacobs as well, like you said, like he's been, I mean,
Monster.
yeah.
And then King
So
Henry, holy moly! I did not think
yeah,
he had that
forgot about
left in the
that one.
tank.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have him and Lamar, and like it
That's
looks
wicked.
scary. Yeah. I mean, there would be more of an argument for him too if the Ravens were a little better. But they also, I mean, I at some point we gotta cut it off. But like, gosh, there's been a couple games where they just don't feed Derrick Henry, and you're like, what's going on? The Eagles get the ball to Saquon pretty much no matter what at this point. So,
I don't.
you got anything else to add real quick?
I guess with that is unless the Ravens are planning because we all saw what happened in the AFC Championship game when they tried to make Lamar turn into Tom Brady. If I don't
Yeah, it didn't
see
work.
if I don't see King Henry get 25 touches in the playoffs, I will I'm gonna get heinous, bro. Because
I will. That'll be the first time I'll listen to NFL's rigged arguments.
like there's no
He
way.
doesn't if unless they get 10 and he has like 20 yards and whatever. Okay,
Yeah, but
boxed. I get it. But I mean, you just that the Ravens in the playoffs have like gone away from Lamar, and it's like, or I'm sorry, gone to Lamar instead of relying on what makes them great. And
yeah,
it's like, holy cow! Like Lamar can pass the ball. I don't think if you're a true ball knower, you know Lamar can pass the ball. You know
cannon
he's a heck of a passer. Better than,
that Chargers throw.
it's not his best. It's not his best attribute, but like he's a top 15 passer.
You and I texted each other about that Chargers dot. That was
Yeah, a laser.
yeah,
Like no, there's five quarterbacks that can make that throw.
and maybe two of them that
And
can make
Lamar's
it on the run.
yeah. So he's phenomenal. We all know he can pass it, but how you win games in January is running the ball,
Run the
hand off.
fucking ball, dude.
I think that'll be it. Episode 1. We appreciate you guys listening. If you made it this far, Huddle Up podcast with Hayden and Hudson. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Sir.
Let us know down below. Things like feedback. I mean, this is going to be the first one live, so would appreciate feedback you guys have. If you guys have topic suggestions, let us know. And if you want to argue, let me know. I can argue all day.
Yep.
So, appreciate you guys, and hopefully, we'll get another one out next week. So,
All right.
peace.
Peace.
That was pretty good.